We got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. Hey, good morning. This is Joe Walsh, former Congressman Joe Walsh, social contract with Joe Walsh. We live in a post-truth world. Too many of us get information every single day that's not based on facts. That's not at all based on the truth. And we're not even completely into AI yet, but we live in a world right now where kind of like the truth doesn't matter. That's a scary place to be. We don't share truths anymore. We don't share basic truths. We don't share a basic set of facts anymore. We live in our bubbles. We all live in a bubble. We live in our MAGA bubble, or we live in our MSNBC bubble. We hang with people who think like us. We go to get informed by people who think like us. And so we each get our own set of facts. We each live according to our own set of truths. It's a post-truth world. I want to try something this morning that's a little different. I want to take an issue that's in the news, an issue that's going to be front and center this next year. And I just want to lay the issue out there. MAGA and everybody, TikTok, everybody listening to me right now, this is not going to be a typical Joe Walsh 20-minute rant. I want to take an issue that everybody's talking about, an issue that we will increasingly talk about more. I want to take an issue that the president-elect Donald Trump has promised to do something big about. And I just want to put the facts in front of you all. I want to put the truth of this issue in front of you all so that everybody listening to me right now, and by the latest count right now, we've got about 1.5 billion people listening to me right now. I just want to put the facts out about this issue, lay the truth out about this issue, so that we all 1.5 billion of us, we all share the same facts, the same basic truth. And then we can decide what you want to do about it. But I don't want us all to have different facts, because there are only one set of facts. There's only a truth. Like when it comes to the issue of mass deportation, right? The numbers are the numbers. The facts about this issue are the facts. You can each of us can have something different we want to do. Maybe you're like Trump, and maybe you think all 11.5 million people who are in this country illegally, they should all be deported tomorrow. Maybe that's what you want to believe. Maybe you believe that nobody in this country illegally should be deported. Fine. I just want both of you, all of us, dealing with the same set of facts. Let's start here. The issue is Donald Trump ran on mass deportation. He's going to deport everybody in this country illegally. It's what he promised to do. It's what he pledged to do. What will he do? We'll get into that in a minute. But this is the issue. And to start to take a look at this issue, I need to put one thesis in front of everybody. I'll put one fact in front of everybody. Our immigration system is broken, plain and simple. I don't care whether you're a conservative or a liberal, you're a Trumper, you're a never Trumper. We all ought to agree to this. Our immigration system is broken. And man, it's been broken for a long, long time. People come into this country illegally every single day. That's the sign of a broken system. People come into this country legally and claim asylum every day, but then they're thrown into this country. They're thrown all over the interior of this country. And that asylum claim takes months, sometimes years to be adjudicated. That's the sign of a broken immigration system. Violent felons are in this country illegally. That's the sign of a broken immigration system. Children born into this country, whose parents came into this country illegally, born into this country, raised as Americans, gone to school, served in the military, gotten gainful employment. We still haven't figured out what to do long term with them. We haven't. They need to become American citizens immediately. The fact that they're still here and we haven't given them a long term solution is evidence that the immigration system is broken. So can we all start here? No matter what you want to do, deport them all, Joe. Don't touch a one, Joe. Can we all agree, all of us, that the system's broken? Now, and it's been this way for a long time. It's this way with Biden as president. The immigration system was broken when Trump was president. It was broken when Obama was president. It was broken when George W. Bush was president. I can stop, right? It's been broken for a long, long time. I served in Congress. It was broken when I was in Congress. Neither side, Republican or Democrat, has had the will to come together and do anything about it. They've each had their own political reasons to keep our broken immigration system as a political issue, but not to be dealt with, not to be fixed. Trump, MAGA, and these Republicans today, they recognize that we have a broken immigration system. And generally what they've done is they've lied about it, demagogued it, and tried to scare people about it. All these migrants who are in this country right now, who've claimed asylum, who are in this country, according to Trump, they're all committing violent crimes everywhere. Donald Trump said they're coming into your kitchens and slitting your throats. Donald Trump said they're eating your cats and your dogs. Trump recognizes that the system is broken, and he uses that broken system to lie to people, to get people scared, to get people angry. The Democrats, they've been AWOL on this issue. Our broken immigration system. The Democrats for too damn long have ignored the problem, haven't paid enough attention to it. The immigration system was broken when Joe Biden got elected. And Joe Biden for 3.5 years didn't do anything about it. He didn't. In fact, he made it worse for 3.5 years. That's emblematic of where the Democrats have been. If Trump lies and says Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio are eating cats and dogs, and he did lie, well, there are 20,000 Haitian migrants in a town of 60,000 people in the state of Ohio, and Democrats have never even bothered to talk about that issue. This has got to change. Okay, so let's look at the facts. Here we go. Right? Trump saying mass deportation, deport everybody who's in this country illegally. Okay, let's look at the facts. How many are there? Again, the best estimates, let's start with the numbers right now. The best estimates right now are that there are somewhere between 11 and 13 million people who are in this country illegally. 4 to 5 groups, basically. Again, the estimates generally from conservative to liberal fall in those numbers. There are people who say 25 to 30 million, and there are people who scream there are only 2 to 3 million. The best estimates from the most respectable estimating and data groups are that there are between 11 and 13 million people in this country illegally. Of those 11 to 13 million people in this country illegally, the vast majority are law-abiding folk. Estimates are right now that there are about 1 million people in this country illegally who have criminal records. About 1 million of the 11 to 13 million. The vast majority of those million who have criminal records are just minor traffic violations and the like. Of the 1 million people that have records who are in this country illegally, best estimates are there are about 400,000 to 500,000 who have violent criminal records. So you with me so far? Well, but before we get into what you want to do, deport them all, Joe. Trump's going to deport them all. Start with our basic set of facts. About 11 and a half, 12 million people in this country illegally. Of that 11 and 12 million, the vast majority are just good law-abiding folk. There are about 1 million who have a criminal record, whatever. Of the 1 million who have records, there are about 500,000 to 600,000 who have violent criminal records. You with me? See that? The numbers. I'll give you one other number. Right now, there are about 1.3 million people in this country illegally who've already received their notice to leave, to go, to be deported. About 1.2, 1.3 million right now who've received their deportation notice. Respectfully, you need to leave. Okay, so those are the numbers. That's like the current situation. That's where we stand right now. Now, a little history. Because when I hear people talk, I hear Trump supporters say, look, Joe, Trump's going to do something that's never been done. Finally, an American president is going to address this issue of people in this country illegally. When I hear Trump supporters say that, it's like no other president ever deported people. It's like there were no presidents before Trump 6, 7, 8 years ago. Like Trump's the only one who's ever deported people. So again, how about the truth? How about the facts, right? What Trump's talking about, I'm going to deport people in this country illegally, that ain't new. That's not new. All presidents have deported people who are in this country illegally. When Trump says mass deportation, like I'm going to deport all 11 and a half million, that's new. That's never been done. But here are the numbers. When Donald Trump was president from 16 to 20, in Trump's term, his first term, he deported about 1.5 million people who were in this country illegally. You with me? In Trump's 4 years, he deported about 1.5 million people. That's almost exactly what Biden has deported. In Joe Biden's 4 years so far, he's deported just about 1.5 million people in this country illegally. You with me so far? So Trump and Biden, they've each had 4 years, and they deported the same number of people who are in this country illegally. What about Obama? Man, Obama deported way more. In Obama's first term, he deported 1.9 million people. In Obama's second term, he deported 2.9 million people who are in this country illegally. Barack Obama, in each of his 4-year terms, deported more people than Donald Trump did in Trump's 4 years. Again, we're talking about deporting people who are in this country illegally. Again, simple numbers, simple facts, the truth. Trump's not proposing anything new when he says, I'm going to deport people. Obama deported more. Biden has deported exactly the same number. Couple other factual differences before we get to what Trump's proposing to do. In Trump's 4 years, he deported less people than Obama did, but Trump, true to Trump, he tried to make a bigger deal about it. Like Trump instituted raiding businesses. Obama hadn't done that. Trump, again, talked a lot about deporting people in his 4 years. So he marketed it a lot more. He sent a different signal. Obama was quieter about it, but Obama deported more people. By the way, none of these numbers include people who were turned away at the border, obviously, because of COVID. One other difference between Obama and Trump. The people Obama focused on were primarily single men who had criminal records, primarily from Mexico. Those were most of the people Obama deported. That was his focus. Single dudes from Mexico who had criminal records. Trump took a different approach. He said, I'm going to deport everybody. I'm going to deport everybody. Obama focused on single men from Mexico with a criminal record. Trump tried to deport everybody, which is what led to a lot of the ugly pictures and headlines where, the whole family separation business and all of that. That was Trump's idea. He didn't focus on just the criminals. He tried to do everybody. Now, the interesting thing about that was because Trump didn't focus on people with criminal records, and Obama did, the numbers show that more people in this country illegally who had violent criminal records, Obama got rid of. And during Trump, there were more that were allowed to stay because Trump focused on everybody. One other important note, more and more people coming into this country illegally are coming from south of Mexico. Even in Obama's years, a preponderance of people coming here illegally during the Obama years were coming from Mexico. About halfway through Trump's term, that changed. And so for the second half of Trump's term and for all of Biden's term, most of the people entering this country illegally are coming from Central and South America, south of Mexico. And there are many more family units coming these last few years than when Obama was president. Okay, so Trump runs on, I'm going to get rid of everybody. I'm getting them all out of here, Joe. All 11 and a half, 12 million. I'm getting them all out of here. Again, let's be smart about this. All of us, let's be smart. Remember the numbers. About 11 to 12 million or so in here illegally. About a million have some record. Again, a traffic ticket, a speeding ticket, some record. About a million. 1.3 million right now, as we speak, right now, 1.3 million have received a notice that they need to go. And about 4 to 5,500,000 people in this country illegally have a violent criminal record. Those are the numbers. Trump says when he's running for president, he's going to deport everyone. Everyone. Okay, so what would that look like? What would the cost of that be? To go after all 11 to 12 and a half million people, it's going to cost a lot of money. That's why Trump's already talking about using the military. It's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. Where are you going to detain these people? Our prison system is already overwhelmed. You're going to have to pay to detain these 11 and a half, 12 million people. Right now, we only have 41,000 beds in detention centers around the country to hold people who are in this country illegally. 41,000 beds. Trump's talking about deporting 11 to 12 million. How do you set up that infrastructure? That's going to cost money. You've got to build more detention facilities. Where do you hold them? Where do you put them? How do you find them? You've got 11 and a half, 12 million people in this country illegally. You've got to find them, hold them, and then pay to get them out of this country. And by the way, when you've also got to deal with Mexico and the Central and South American countries who are not going to make this easy. The point is to set up the infrastructure to get 11 to 12 million people who are in this country illegally out of here. It's a fantasy to think that that can be done in a year or 2 or 3, even if Trump threatens to use the American military. And just think through how that might happen. How do you use the military? Do you go into people's homes? Do you go into people's businesses? We know that Trump is all about the pictures, so he's surely going to want to go into people's businesses again. Is he using the military to do that? More and more increasingly, here's another important point, under Obama and under Trump and under Biden, local law enforcement is saying, time out. We're not cooperating. This is not what we're paid to do. This is a federal problem. Most of these people are good people. So law enforcement agencies around the country for a number of years now, and the number increases, aren't cooperating with the feds. So do the feds have to set up an entire new gazillion-dollar infrastructure to get this done? And all my MAGA conservative friends who tell me, Joe, get rid of them all. You willing to pay gazillions to do it? You willing to increase the federal debt to do it? It's going to take money. The point is huge, huge cost. I will remind everybody that the vast, vast, vast majority of folks who are in this country illegally, 11, 12, 13 million, never committed a crime. They're good law-abiding people who are out there working, trying to make a life, living in kind of a limbo. You really want to spend gazillions and try to set up this mammoth federal infrastructure that'll take years to go after these people who are just trying to live a good life and contribute to American society? And by the way, that number increases every year. 11, 12 million people in this country illegally. It was just under shy of 11 when Biden became president. That number increased throughout Trump's presidency, throughout Biden's presidency. Here's another factor to consider, everybody. Again, just the facts, just the truth. I'll let you make the decision. Trump's going to make the decision, MAGA, 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 but have the facts and truth in front of you. Have the cost and the benefit in front of you. That 11, 12 million people in this country illegally, about 4.6 million of these people in this country illegally, 4.6 million come from mixed status families, or mixed status spouses, or mixed status children. What does that mean? That means there are about 4.5 million people in this country illegally who are married to American citizens, who live in households with American citizens, who have children who are American citizens. 4 to 5 million of those. No big deal? No big deal, Joe? Let's just get rid of them. Let's send the military into these homes and get rid of the ones who are not American citizens. Break up those families. Break up those adults and those kids. Think about that. Mixed status families. 4 to 5 million of these folks are living with, married to, parenting American citizens. What are you going to do about that? The economy. You get rid of 5, 6 million people in this country illegally tomorrow. You get rid of 11 to 12 to 13 million in the next 2 years who are in this country illegally. The vast, 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 vast majority of whom have never committed a crime and are just here working, contributing to our economy and our society. Oh my word. Have you thought about the impact on our economy? Just remove 11 to 12 million people from our economy. You know the jobs that most of these folks are engaged in. Hardworking, tough jobs. Engaged in jobs in the grocery business, in the restaurant business, in pick your business, pick your industry, that all of us take advantage of. The economic costs of removing 11 to 12 to 13 million people from this country will be felt in a big, big way. People smarter than me, economists smarter than me, talk about an instant recession, talk about grocery. Hey, look at me. You're complaining about the price of eggs now? MAGA, MAGA? Go ahead and have Trump use the American military, which, by the way, again, the constitutionality of that would go to court immediately. It would take years of appeals to figure out if Trump has the constitutional power to do that. I don't believe he does, but put that aside for a moment, right? Trump comes in, he uses the military, because remember, local law enforcement's not going to cooperate with him. A lot of states will not cooperate with him, but he uses the military. He spends gazillions to do it. He's able to remove 11 to 12 million people in a couple of years, which is impossible, but say he could do it. You talk about the price of eggs, the price of milk, the price of produce, the price of damn near everything. The costs, right? Look, I know it sounds great on paper. I'm going to build a wall. I'm going to deport everybody in this country illegally. And remember something. Just bear with me, MAGA. I am, as of right now, I'm not a Democrat. And I'm certainly not a man of the left. You look at my history, what I've said and what I've done. I have always been a border hawk. A sovereign country has to have a border. If a sovereign nation doesn't have a border, it's not a sovereign nation. If a sovereign nation doesn't defend its border, it's not a sovereign nation. I've preached this from, until the cows come home. I have always been a border hawk. We have to defend our border. Now, I differ with today's Republican Party in that I would greatly expand legal immigration. I'd make it a lot easier and a lot less time consuming and a lot less costly for people to come here legally. But our border's broken. The system's broken. I acknowledge that. And it's really easy to say when you're running for president, I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, or I'm going to deport everybody in this country illegally. All I'm trying to do this morning is get you to think, okay, what is the current situation? And you know that. And presidents before Trump, what did Biden and Obama do? Now you know that, right? They deported more. Obama deported more, way more than Trump did. Biden about the same. And what are the costs? Like I had a conversation 2 days ago with somebody, a Trump supporter, who said, Joe, look, you shouldn't be in this country illegally, Joe. I want them all removed. And I said, fine, Steve. And then Steve and I had a conversation and I walked him through these costs. How are you going to do it? You're going to have to set up a whole new federal infrastructure. Right now, Steve, we only have 41,000 beds in detention centers around the country. You're talking about 11 to 12 million people. You got to detain them, house them, and then get them out of here. It's going to cost billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. It's going to take years to do. Boom, boom, boom. We walked our way through it. And the vast majority of these people, Steve, the vast majority of the 11 and a half, 12 million have never committed a crime. You've got 400 to 500,000 people, 600,000 people who are violent criminals who are here. You've got 4.5 million who are married to American citizens. Steve, how are you going to work through this? I just want you thinking about that because it matters. So, what's Trump going to do? Again, you know where I stand on Trump. He lies as he breathes. You can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. All he cares about is Trump. He's a brilliant marketer. That's what he's been his whole life. So there's a part of me that thinks this will just be like the wall bullshit. And Trump, just to get elected, promised, I'm going to deport everybody. I'm surprised he didn't say, and I'm going to make Mexico pay for it. But part of me thinks this is just Trump, right? Trying to get elected, and he's spewing a bunch of bullshit at his supporters. I do think that's a big part of it. I don't think he's going to try to deport everybody in this country illegally, but I'm going to prepare for him trying to do that. And I think we all should. By the way, this wall business, just again, the facts, just the facts, right? Trump said when he ran for president in 2016, he was going to build a wall, a great big beautiful wall on our southern border. About 2,000 miles is the southern border, and he was going to make Mexico pay for it. What are the facts? What's the truth? Well, the easiest one is Mexico didn't pay for a damn thing. And of the 2,000-mile southern border, Trump built exactly 52 miles of new barrier. Can I say that one more time? Because it's fun to say. Trump said he was going to build a wall when he first got elected and make Mexico pay for it. From end to end, he said, a big, beautiful wall, the whole southern border, 2,000 miles. He built, in his 4 years, 52 miles of new barrier structures. He replaced about 330 miles of already, I'll do shorthand, existing wall, existing barrier. He just replaced, rehab that already barrier that was up, but Trump only built 52 miles of new wall. Just the facts. So here's what I think Trump will do. Again, because Trump's all about the pictures. I think Trump is going to immediately on day one go after those 500,000 to 600,000 people in this country illegally who are here illegally and they have violent criminal records. And Donald Trump will get them the hell out of this country. And you know what? Great. Because I'll bet 90% of America, got to be higher, right? 95% of America would say, if you're in this country illegally and you have a violent criminal record, you shouldn't be here. So that's low-hanging fruit. And I think Trump will go after that low-hanging fruit, which, by the way, again, is what any president should do. And by the way, again, when Barack Obama got elected for his 8 years, this is what he did. He deported almost, what is that number? He deported, over 4 million people, the vast majority of whom were single men with criminal records, violent criminal records. Obama did that. I think Trump will do the same thing. Now, again, unlike Obama, Trump's all about the headlines and the visuals. So I think in the first few months, we're going to see pictures of violent criminals, people who are in this country illegally, being thrown onto buses and gotten the hell out of this country. And the American people, all of us, should applaud, just like we all should have applauded when Obama did it. So I think that's what Trump's going to do. He's going to go after these two pieces, the 5 to 600,000 who are here illegally and they have a violent criminal record. By the way, that's not going to be super easy. None of this is going to be easy. And by the way, my MAGA friends, this is all going to cost money and resources and time for law enforcement. Not going to be easy. Even these violent felons are not easy to find. But Trump will go after them. And remember that other number, the 1.3, 2 or 3 million who right now have a notice that they need to leave? He'll go after as many of them as he can, which again is another piece of low-hanging fruit. But see, then once you get past, and I think most Americans would be down with that, though, of the 1.3 million who've already received a notice, plenty of them are law-abiding good folk who've just been here working. So that's not going to be easy. But outside of those two buckets, then Trump starts to go after the 4.5 million people here illegally who are married to an American citizen or live in households with American citizens or have American citizen kids. Oh boy, Trump tries to go after that. And Trump tries to creep that number up and literally try to deport 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 million people in this country illegally. I don't think it's possible. Just structurally, logistically, I don't think it's possible. But if he tries to do it, well, those pictures won't look good. Like, it's one thing if you throw a violent gang member from Guatemala into the back of a bus. It's quite another if you enter a home and grab a mother away from her crying 5-year-old. That's a whole different picture. Or if you walk into a grocery store and try to snag 5 or 6 good folk who are working there and have been working there for years, and you go into that grocery store, the military, whoever, and grab those 4 or 5 people, I don't think America is going to like those pictures, and I don't think they should. So most of me believes, as is most everything with Trump, it's just a stunt. Like the wall was a stunt. If Trump deported 1.5 million people in his first 4 years, remember, Obama deported 1.9 million in his first 4 years and 2.9 million in the second 4 years. But I just love to say that. But if Trump deported 1.5 million in his first 4 years, I'm going to guess he's going to deport in these 4 years another million or 1.5 million. He'll learn from Obama. Trump will learn from Obama and focus on the criminals. I don't think he'll move beyond that. But I don't think he will. I know he shouldn't, but I don't think he will. But we as a nation need to be prepared that he might. And when he and Stephen Miller and his people say mass deportation, we got to believe, a big part of us, that they mean it and they believe it. And if they set out to try to deport well beyond 1 million, 1.5 million people and try to shoot for that $11 to $12 million person mark, the American people need to be prepared to resist. Along with plenty local politicians and local law enforcement throughout this country who would not implement what Trump's trying to do. So be prepared for the worst. I'm telling you what I think Trump's going to try to do. And by the way, if Trump's able to remove a few 100,000 people in this country who are violent criminals, let's all applaud. Let's all applaud. Part of what I wanted to do with this, though, was I just wanted you to understand, be smart. That's nothing new. Donald Trump is not the first American president who's deported people in this country illegally. I hope now you got that, you understand it. What should we do? Let's close with this. Let's wrap with this. What should we do? If I were president, I anybody in this country illegally with a criminal record, I would ask to leave and I would get out. Any violent criminal in this country illegally, I would get out. That's part of just defending the border. Again, remember, if you're a sovereign nation, you have to have a border and you've got to defend that border. So we have a broken immigration system. Just the fact that we're spending so much time talking about this, right? We have a broken immigration system. Step one is defend the border, technology, manpower, wall, whatever you want, all of it. Defend the border. Don't let anybody into this country illegally. And the folks who are currently in this country illegally, get rid of the violent criminals. Period. Period. We need to fix our asylum program. You come here to America and you claim asylum and you enter America, that's not illegal. Again, I want MAGA to understand that. To come to America and claim asylum, that's a legal process. What's wrong is it shouldn't take months or years to adjudicate that process. It should take days and weeks. You come here from Guatemala, you come here from Mexico, you come here from wherever, and you claim asylum, that should take days or weeks. That should be adjudicated. You should not be released into the interior of the country, never to be seen from for months or years. We need to fix our asylum system. That's going to take resources. Everybody else who's in this country illegally, for whatever reason, they've overstayed their visa, whatever, for whatever reason. Again, the vast majority are good, decent, law-abiding, contributing to society and the economy kind of folks. We shouldn't deport them. This is where I've changed over the years. The dreamers, the folks who've overstayed their visas, the folks who might have come here illegally, or they've been here for 5 or 6 years, haven't committed a crime, they're contributing to society. We should not deport them. I fight back against Trump's entire premise. I don't want all, and I've changed on this. 5, 6, 7 years ago, I didn't say what I'm about to say. I didn't. Then I listened and I learned a little bit and I spoke to folks. Remember, 11.5, 12 million in this country illegally. 500,000 or 600,000 are violent criminals. Get rid of them. Anybody else with a record, get rid of them. So we're talking about 9, 10, 11 million people, good law-abiding people contributing to society, contributing to our economy. They've been here. They were born here as children, no fault of their own. They've been here 4 years. They should not be deported. They should get the words that I used to rail against a number of years ago, the pathway to citizenship. They should become American citizens. It shouldn't be a pathway. They should be given American citizenship. Our broken system let them in. They've done everything right since they've been here. I fight back and push back against Trump's entire premise. The vast majority of those 11 to 12 million people in this country currently illegally, because of our fucked up and broken immigration system, because of a broken immigration system that my former colleagues, Republicans and Democrats, don't have the courage, the will to do anything about. They should be given citizenship. Yes, a pathway. Better be a damn short pathway. They should be American citizens. Get rid of the bad apples promptly. Fix our immigration system. Defend the border. Secure the border. But it was always this, right? When I was in Congress, it was always this. But Joe, What do we do with the ones who are already here? And I'd say they got to get in line. They got to leave and get in line. That's kind of what Trump's saying. They got to leave. No, they don't. A, it'll be impossible to do. But no, they don't. No, they don't. They should become American citizens. So, again, closing right now, Keith, I promise. If Trump does what he should do, which is what every other president has done, deport the bad guys, America will applaud. If Trump tries to deport good people, America will rebel. I will help rebel. I don't think he'll try to do that, but he might. He might. Because most Americans, I believe now what I believe. It took me a little while to get there. That the folks who are here illegally, who are good folks, for whatever reason they're still here, damn it, they should become Americans. That's where I now am. That's where most Americans are. And by the way, again, finally, part of fixing our system is to not be here again, so that it's clear and it's obvious and it's easy to become an American citizen. Let's make it a hell of a lot easier to become an American. Let's greatly expand the number of people who come here legally and become American citizens. White, black, brown, gay, straight, transgender, whatever, wherever you're from. You want to come to America for opportunity? We need to welcome you and make that process easy. Because it's too damn complicated and it's too damn hard now. And it's created the situation we have now, where we have 11 to 12 million people in this country illegally, and we have a demagogue, an ugly, bigoted, stupid, cruel demagogue saying he's going to yank them all out of this country. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped a little bit. And even if you don't agree with me, by the way, I want you to think, what should we do? MAGA and everybody on the left, you've been presented kind of with the lay of the land, the current situation, the facts on the ground, the history of deportation. These are the numbers. These are the costs. If you want to try to do it, what should we do? You tell me, what should we do? Maybe we'll have another episode and I'll I'll take all of your thoughts. Thanks for listening, everybody. My email, by the way, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. joewalshwhiteflag, all one word, joewalshwhiteflag@gmail.com. Be brave.
Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.